Welcome to the May 16th Commissioner meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for everyone coming. So we're a few minutes late. So we've approved the minutes from the May 2nd meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May the 2nd as submitted.
I second.
All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. We've approved the accounts payable vouchers that have been submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable vouchers.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. We've approved the payroll docket. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I make a motion to approve the payroll docket.
I second.
All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Dora? Yeah. Do you want us to?
That would be great.
Okay. Valerie. So this is a proclamation. It says, whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, and we recognize that all people experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives. And whereas there is vital research that animal companionship, humor, spirituality, religion, recreation, social connections, and work-life balance can help protect health and well-being. And whereas Jefferson County has a multitude of resources available for those struggling with mental health, Centerstone, the Freedom Center, Life Spring Health Systems, Ruth Haven House, Jefferson House, Youth Villages, Recovery Cafe of Madison, Citizens of Jefferson County for Suicide Prevention, and the Bethany Legacy Foundation Mental Health Matters web resource page. And whereas with effective treatment, individuals with mental health and other chronic health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen share the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, join us in recognizing the month of May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month. As Jefferson County Commissioners, we call upon all citizens to commit to increasing awareness and the understanding of mental health. Signed, Commissioners of Jefferson County.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you doing that, and I accept this proclamation on behalf of Bethany Legacy Foundation, which is your local health foundation focused on the health and wellness of Jefferson County. And sometimes a lot of people ask us, like, how do you do your work? What's the foundation? The majority of work is really through awarding grants, but we also do a lot of convening, research, connecting people that don't typically work together. And because of that work, we have a bird's eye view on what's going on in the county. There's a lot of good things happening, but the one thing that's really not going well is mental health. And there's no one in this room that hasn't been affected by it, either themselves or with family members. And so we are a designated mental health desert by the federal government, and that means there's not enough providers to care for the people who live here, our children and our neighbors. And this means that many suffer in silence. And without good mental health, we can't have great schools, we can't go to work, and people really struggle. And that often, unfortunately, leads to substance use disorders. And so we are just calling for collective action, that we all rally around this issue, and this proclamation is a step in the right direction. So I really appreciate and applaud you for doing this to us, commissioners. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
You'll have to sign the version. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Dora.
Thank you.
Next, we have a request for a zoning map change at 7273 East State Road 56. Mr. Chad Gray.
How you guys doing?
Okay.
Good. So yeah, 7273 East State Road 56. That's a property that I've had for probably 5 years, 4 years, something like that. Since then, we've been working on boats, and we have some docks there and other things like that. We've got a shop there, which is a barn that was already there. surveyor's meeting, I wasn't really prepared. I hadn't really been out there in a little while. The guy that was, helping me and running it out there got in an accident. He hadn't been there in like a few months, but he has kept up with the property. Yeah, so I didn't have everything that I needed. They did ask about if I had access to the highway. I did say that I thought we did. And that was already in the works. So I did that through the state, 2 years ago. I'm approved to put state highway access in there with the size of pipe that they had stated, which was like 24 inches, but I would go with 36. The last thing on that, I just needed to be bonded, license and bond somebody down there that, is insured to do that with the state. And I just haven't been preoccupied with family and other business ventures to even pursue it, but we would pursue that because there was a couple, there was one lady that did say that the traffic is too much. There's only one or two guys there. You may see like a boat or pontoon trailer leave there once or twice a week. You know, it's not a high traffic thing, but I understand Brooksburg, small roads, pretty dilapidated anyhow, so, that was one of the ladies' concerns. Another thing was property value. The closest sale to that, which is right next to the shop itself, was sold in 2019 to, a guy that actually was managing another business I have. He purchased it for $125. He just left the country, so he had to sell it. And this was a month ago. It sold for $194 without any improvements. In that time was when the boats came in and the docks were there and other things of that sort. So if anything, you know, it appreciated about $70,000 with the docks in its backyard. But the guy that's out there does keep it clean. I mean, it is a clean piece of property, given what's around Brooksburg and some of those areas I grew up at. I think it's probably a lot cleaner than a good chunk of the land that's out there that's already occupied. The business concern, like the general business, when I grew up out there in the 80s, 90s, when I was through the 90s, one of the neighbors were in the body shop. It had a lit up sign on the highway. That would have been, let's see, Gary.
Dowdy.
Yes. So there's a body shop there with a lit sign on the highway. I don't think that was on general business. I developed the Canby Ferry Campground, which is the land right next to the state boat ramp down there. That at one time in the 80s and 90s was actually a hotel. When I got it, it was zone recreation. I don't think anything was said about a motel being there, but it was a 6-bedroom, 6-room motel, jacuzzi on the patio. Outside of our piece of land out there that is pretty well kept up with, there's a lot of other parcels out there that are cluttered with other people doing business. I wouldn't throw anybody out there or mention any of them, but it's been going on out there for years. This is zoned residential and agriculture right now. I don't see anybody developing a house on stilts. It's 7 feet deep in floodplain by DNR. So most houses on stilts look at a water view or not the town of Brooksburg. So there's 3 acres there. Nobody's gonna till it. Nobody's gonna do anything. I own 9 acres across the highway. I get $900 a year or something for Mike Gray to go and put his corn in or soybean. You know, I could probably get more than that, but there's just nothing there for 3 acres for me to get a farmer down there to do anything with it. Other than that, I mean, the boats and docks, they do go in now there. We would get the state highway access and, yeah, is there any other, I had a bunch of other things here, but I think that pretty much covers.
Your state highway you're desiring is like if I'm headed and I'm gonna turn left in Brooksburg, you're right across to the right, right?
No, this is actually, if I was going to take a left into Brooksburg, the second entrance to Brooksburg, let's say. So you would have, which is right before the Indiana Kentucky River. I'm about a half a mile up from there on that long stretch to the left.
So where's the state highway come into it?
The highway 56 River Road just goes
Right, I
straight
mean,
down.
your entrance off of it though.
It comes right off the road. There was an entrance there. Actually, there's no pipe in there. But if you go out there and look at it, there's a gate right next to 56 and the land is higher where they used to run equipment, farm tractors, whatever, that's been a long time ago. That's nothing that we've ever used. But right on the front of 56, because we have frontage there. And I did submit some of that paperwork with Sarah earlier this week, and I forgot a few pages out of it. It was like the bond and everything from the state.
That's in the town of Brooksburg.
Well, so this is the property in question. I'm not sure why. So you have the two blocks here, but it goes all the way to 56, right? That's
It
your,
does, yes. It's the state called it a class 2 driveway permit.
no, I
I'm not
meant
too-
the land that you're talking about trying to get rezoned to,
Yes, it's 2 parcels of land. One of them starts right at the highway.
so it's not on this map that we have. It's just got, Okay.
Let me grab this map.
And that's what
I
I'm
got one.
having trouble. Off the state, road.
Yeah,
no,
paperwork
the old
from the
state road goes
state.
through Brooksburg.
but he's coming.
This is off of this.
If you're looking here, it's a big chunk of Brooksburg, really. It's 5 acres probably out of. Here's your Highway 56. Yeah,
Okay, so
there you
this,
go.
this is your two sections you've got.
Yeah, so it's
That
all of
make,
this.
this is,
around
this is all
everything.
yours.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, got
all-
it. That-
And these
that-
are 2 different zonings. You got 1 and 2. This is residential and ag.
And this is residential and ag, isn't it?
Yes, both,
Yeah.
all of this section, residential and ag.
So you're
This
wanting
is
to put a
just ag.
road back in there.
Yeah.
Somewhere to you, right?
Yeah, it's actually gonna be about right here. Once we get it surveyed and go from here, and see exactly where our lines are at, it's gonna be more towards the west
So-
side here.
That's in relation to this.
Yes, that's
Gotcha.
part of that.
Gotcha.
Then I have some more state paperwork from where the bond and all that. But yeah,
So
so
have you
this
got,
is,
have you got to go ahead for that?
yeah, yeah, I
Except
just
you
had to
gotta-
have
Whoever
license.
does it has to be
Yeah,
licensed,
and
bonded,
I-
insured, workman's comp and all that stuff.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
and my guy was wanting me to do it, and I was too busy to take a dozer out there and do it, so
Okay.
it just hasn't gotten done, but we could get that done
So you have that
within a
paperwork.
year, probably more like 3 months.
You have that paperwork that you can,
Yeah, let's see what I have here.
That makes perfect sense. And
And it is almost an alleyway that does go through there. I mean, there's nothing heavy, there's no damage done to any blacktop that's been where they've been using it as a drive, but I understand the neighbors if, you know. Cause all the roads there are very narrow. Outside of Brooksburg Main Street, I think every road out there is 8 feet wide. No, this is not it. Submitted some of it to Sarah the other day, and she's the one, I think, in this other folder here. You guys have everything except for, I think that's what I sent Sarah, Bobby, you have, yeah. There's some of it in the back page of that, what you have on your hand. I just missing the 2 pages out of the front of that.
you think it just, maybe that's what.
well, this is his application to the plan commission. So that was what we had there.
I'm just gonna look you guys inside of here. There it is. All right, so this was the bond that it started. This was the diagram that the state received. And the last thing that we had to wait on was just the company that's gonna do it. like you said, licensed, bonded, insured with the, and, registered with the state, I presume, I'm not sure.
I mean, I thought you said you had state approval for this. This is like stuff you're submitting to the state to get approval. Is that?
Yeah, this is, we have the go ahead if we just get the contractor to do so. And you could do some sort of contingency on the entrance. This was done. No date on this, probably been, yeah, January 22.
No, I mean, this is dated September 2010. So,
Yeah, that might have been just another access at the order. And the city that got together,
some of the concerns from the town of Brooksburg is that this road here is, because he mentions being too small for boats. And that was the road that there was concern, because it is not very big. I don't know what the exact width is, but that was the concern from the town of
the
Brooksburg.
lady Suzette that was there said she measured their 9.5 for that road that goes through there.
So if he got access for a drive and then could go back this way, that should alleviate that traffic, but I know the state's pretty stingy about giving you access for driveways off state roads.
Hmm. So Josh, do you want to give a little background on what kind of generated all of this change or request to change the zoning?
We started out with some complaints that there was boats being stored there and, some docks and whatnot. And,
How long ago?
it's probably been a year and a half ago, maybe.
Probably at least.
And I went down there and spoke with Steve, and it's Steve Fisher, is that correct? And where he had him parked was kind of blocking people's view from their house, and he moved stuff and, it kind of seemed to alleviate itself, and I talked to him again, they said that they were happy with what he had done and didn't really have an issue with that, but then, kind of as I looked into it, the complaint from a few other people that there was running a business there, I looked into it and they didn't have any permit to do that, so I talked to, Mr. Gray about coming in and getting that taken care of, and, it's kind of in the ordinance change, so a few setbacks because the ordinance changed, the property a little bit and didn't allow to have a boat storage or shop there. So, anyway, the only way it can really be done now is if it's rezoned. And I think that's about all I
Okay.
really know about it.
And just
It is in the, floodplain. A lot of Brooksburg is. And the DNR also requires some permitting on storage, of boats and stuff, so I think he needs to look into probably pull a permit on that too, if you all approve this.
Well, I mean, I think the concern of the planning commission was that and the getting access. He says he's in the process of getting access. I think we still need to see those things before we can say, yeah, go ahead and do it. Cause I mean, the people living right next to it weren't, I understand it was when they moved in, when they built their house, it wasn't there, and now it is there. And concerns with how far to go. I mean, once you open the door to say, yeah, go ahead and do it, then so. What's your, I mean,
I'd like to see more evidence where the state, there should be, I would think, a formal letter or something that granting access, and
right,
I understand the schematic about the culvert size and less than 8 feet, more than 8 feet, but. Well, it's been something backing it up with a pool or something, wouldn't you? That's my only concern. That should help the issue on the road, because he'll be coming in on his own.
And then the floodplains permits, is that, I have no idea on the,
He would know more.
I know, ability to get something like that. Is that just fill out a form and they're gonna give it to you, or?
I would say they probably put some regulations on how many can be stored there and whatnot, but yes, it's an online form that you'd have to go on and kind of fill out and basically tell them, it has to be pretty detailed where the driveway's at.
It's a pretty simple process. Everything stays on wheels and can get moved,
Yeah.
kind of the way that works. It's like campers and campgrounds, got wheels and go.
Sure, but this is a floodplain, and there are certain things in floodplains that the state is pretty particular about, so. I mean, I think we just need more information on the access and then.
Next month, if he's got it all, and then we can pursue it.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of in the plan commission's view is, it wasn't, if it's happened because of bringing in the boats and then causing the issues with it not being business or general business. And so now, the way around it is this, and would you, if, without the, it's already there. If it wasn't there and he was coming in and asking to do it there, would you go ahead and then rezone it? That's the kind of the question we came down to. And I think if the people around it didn't want it, that, like I said, there was some pushback against it. So I'm okay. I think finding out this other information, getting your approval from the state and seeing what the DNR is gonna make you do. I don't know if you think a month is long enough, or is it? I mean,
I would think so. I mean,
DNR, if it lands on DNR desk, I mean, you're talking 90 days.
as you say, it might be longer.
DNR
than that,
desk is
you know.
not, they don't move anything. I don't know where it's at in the last couple of years. I've filed multiple permits with DNR, and I mean, it's gonna be a minute.
It's probably gonna be at least 6 weeks, I'd say. It may surprise you, but sometimes they come in faster.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, they were slower, but it seems like here lately they're a little quicker.
Well, you wouldn't want to go ahead and do it if they won't give you approval anyway, right?
No,
I mean, what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
if you get the go ahead in the state to put your drive in, and then they say, no way, so you don't want to be strung out, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Which we would have no bearing what DNR,
right, we can't.
what they come forth with, but we could on the other, so. If you could show us something in the state where they said, you got your approval. I understand being licensed, bonded and all that, because
Mhm.
Bobby has to go through that with them, so.
So that's,
I'm just, do you think, so if we went with the we have the 11th and the 25th in July, do you think that? Try to set
I
some
would probably shoot for the 25th.
25th, and if you can't, just let us know.
If you had good luck and find something sooner, why?
Yeah.
We could do it earlier,
Yeah, you
right?
could contact Sarah, but.
yeah, I'd say the 25th.
Of July.
Okay,
Yeah,
come back to the 25th if you can get that information.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll get it.
if it takes longer, then just let Sarah know and we'll move it to
Yeah.
a time.
well,
If you get it
comes
sooner.
in, then I'll give it to Sarah to give to you guys, and then we still do the 25th, unless it's way early. And you
Sure,
can add it to the
sure.
11th
Yeah.
or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's
All
good.
right, appreciate it.
All right, Josh, update on Mr. Gilstrap and that, so.
I think we're I went by there yesterday, I believe, and the trailer's still sitting there. Like maybe a little bit of cleanup been done since then, but not a whole lot of change. It was raining, so I didn't spend a lot of time there.
So,
But I think you want to get information from him today and kind of a
right,
timeline.
so is there a plan to get once again, the guy can't keep living in the trailers, huh? Okay, so you're gonna move the trailer? No, I guess not. It just needs to make sure that he's not living in it. That, I'm thinking if it's still there, he's probably still gonna live in it, but, so, and need to, I know you're saying you're making progress. We need to keep seeing progress, getting it cleaned up.
I'm just about done. I've been cleaned everything. It ain't hardly nothing left to clean.
I'll stop out there next week and
Okay,
check a little closer. The out front looks a ton better than what it has in the past.
okay,
I think there's still some around the house that needs cleaned up that you can see from the neighbors.
okay. How much, we're gonna go a month, or we're gonna go longer?
What's your thoughts, Jeff?
I mean, I'm gonna keep cleaning. I mean, a month, you come out in a month or something, you want to check it out. I mean,
Yes, fine with me.
So if you wanna give us feedback in a month, see what's going, and then we'll decide when's the next time we'll ask him to come and talk to us if we need to do that. If it keeps getting cleaned up, I think we're okay with that. You guys okay with that? If we
Yeah.
keep seeing progress?
I don't see a
Okay.
movement on.
So, thanks for coming in, just we will make sure that guys, once again, he's not supposed to live in the RV. So,
thank you.
right. Michael?
Commissioners, Mike Farbach with Constellation Energy. I've been your natural gas provider I'm thinking now 10, 12 years. Dave and I had talked, last summer at the Association of Indiana Counties National Convention. And, he had informed me at that time, you guys had a new jail coming on board, and it's now in play.
In a word, yes.
On my drive up here, I called Nathan Kunkler, who's your center point representative. And since it hasn't really been in production, I guess it might be.
Full operation.
Full operation is a better word yet. For a year, we really don't have a real good track record on how much gas you're gonna use. And so he just sent me, and I just forwarded it to you a minute ago, your gas usage through April. And so you can start to see the last quarter of last year, you used an average of about 130 decatherms a month. And the first quarter of the year, you're using about 550 decatherms a month. So obviously it's starting to ramp up, heat wise, food wise, steam wise, all those things. So, I don't have any pricing for you
Okay.
in regards to that. What I did email you earlier today was I took a look at, we're currently serving, the county has 6 other facilities that we're currently serving. And so what I did was I just took a look at, what gas costs have been over the last, 52 months, which gets you back to January of 2020. And so I just summarized 52 months, 40 months, kind of, you could see that your gas prices have averaged anywhere from about just under $5, $5.50 to $5 is over the 52 months. And what I did was I just took your natural gas usage over the last 3 years, and I ran some pricing over the next 12 to 40 months, just to give you a ballpark idea of gas costs, what the market's doing. And what we're seeing in the industry is a lot of customers are short-term. If they, I worked up some numbers to get you out through October of 25, and many times I ran these prices so you could see it either on a 12 or 24 or 36 month term, or getting you through the October. And the purpose of that was normally when you can grab some more summer months, it normally pulls prices down a little bit. But you can see the market's really kind of getting weird with more and more natural gas being used to produce power, more electrification going on in the industry. there's just a lot of volatility in gas. But on the short term, meaning 12 to 16 months, I think that might be a sweet spot to go ahead and lock in some pricing. So Dave, what I wanted to do, was just get some direction from you in regards to that. And then what I will do is, now that Nathan sent me that other information, I think I can send you an idea of what the jail might look like. Again, we don't totally have a good history of the 12 months, but maybe we forecast 80% of what they've been using to forecast. And then I could probably early next week get you some numbers for the new jail. So I didn't come to say, hey, look, here it is, just because we didn't have all the information, but we had talked about coming.
So I mean, I think we would have a budgeted amount for however long.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and my goal, once I ran the numbers for the new jail, after COVID, CenterPoint changed their utility rates where a smaller facility qualifies for an industrial rate. So the new facility, the jail, even this the first quarter already qualifies. So the jail will be put on the industrial rate. And so your 6 current accounts are rate 225 because they're smaller accounts. The new jail will be a larger account. And so you kind of have to look at them separately. And so I wanted to get the pricing so you all could have it. If it's having uniform pricing is valuable, helpful, I was trying to get that, but I didn't have all the information.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, I think it helps us when we sit, because we're getting ready to do budgeting here shortly and a budgeted rate for a year is very nice when you sit down to do budgets. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, well, we don't do that. I haven't seen your email yet, but sometime in June we'll do that. So if you think by that time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully have some numbers for you next
Okay,
week, but
okay.
again, I don't know if I have to be here for you exactly, so it's.
No,
gonna take, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can work through that, but we're just,
And a lot of time, because the natural gas market's a commodity, just like when we go home and watch the stock market was up or down, it's constantly moving. So what I presented to is really a snapshot of what it was at 3:30 when I ran the numbers.
it'll be helpful in budgeting. for
Absolutely.
Utilities.
Is the county looking, as your natural gas provider, we're seeing a lot of changes in the industry. There's a term sustainability that's kind of, and I do quotes in the air because for some people it's pixie dust, other people they're highly focused on it. Is the county looking at trying to take steps to be carbon neutral, to erase your gas usage? Are you trying to better track your utility bills, anything like that? That would be helpful.
So Ron here works at LG&E over in Gent, so I'm not sure he's gonna be in favor of cutting back, at least on that side of things. I'm just guessing.
Watch the cold.
No,
Yeah, so, do we want to be smart users? Yes. Are we gonna go carbon neutral? I don't think any of us up here would want to start that shell game, sorry, but that's a lot of what it is.
Smile with the question asked.
There, I understand. I know in your industry, you need to find out. So, but I don't, we want to be as efficient as we can be, but we're not gonna look to shut the gas off at anywhere.
Yeah, no, no,
So.
not saying that. And
We're not saying that either.
yeah.
Yeah, I worked at Trimble County, well, they got gas units.
So,
So why don't I do that next week? I will, I'll run the numbers forecasting for the rate 225 facility, blend the two, and send you some numbers. And again, all I need back is glad to come here and tell you what it is, but in many cases, all I need is a reply to an email to say, yeah, let's go ahead and move forward with.
like I said, it'll just help us budgeting for the year.
But I really would say we're starting to see, because of a lot of the concerns of just the energy industry. I was at the Indiana Manufacturers Association yesterday, and every one of the board of directors there that was speaking, they're very concerned about the renewables and those types of things. And natural gas right now is about 50% of all it's the fuel to produce 50% of the power in the country. And And so that means that's a gas competitor that you never had to deal with before. So it can cause some volatility in your pricing. So I tell you, I presented 2 to 3 years worth of data. Don't be afraid to maybe go to the middle part of that and just, lock your gas in and protect it because it takes the volatility off the table. And,
Sure. I mean, just in the, going back 52 months, I mean, the changes, that's over $1 per.
yeah, and the pricing on the quotes were on the last page there.
Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, just seeing where it's been and what,
You're
so,
right. So the market, you may be able to take 50 cents or 75 cents off the table of what you paid. And so if that's helpful to secure it, then we'd love to help you.
I think we would be okay with saving. So,
Okay,
yeah. so
I will
so
Monday
that's-
or Tuesday, then follow
Okay,
up with an email
no.
to you all.
I don't know if I can pass it on to them, you can, but
Okay.
anyway, yeah, so we can. Yeah,
Any other questions or anything?
I don't think so, thanks for coming up.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, you're welcome. Appreciate it.
Mr. Allen?
Good
Evening.
Evening.
to see you all. First of all, I'd like to thank Sarah for, I think she sent you a letter with some pictures.
She did. She printed them all for us tonight, didn't she?
Mr. Phillips, he got a copy of the letter also. And I don't know how many times we talked about each 925 north.
We talked about it several times. It's one of those neat little help.
Yeah, it's been the last 3 or 4 years anyway, we talked about it at least once a year. And I know there's, Mr. Phillips would like to widen that road. Now, I didn't put this in the letter, but my understanding that there's a neighbor that's causing a problem with that. Question I have is what kind of right of way does the county have?
I mean, he would, it really, unfortunately, it depends on the road sometimes, it's a.
Depends on all the roads. Yeah, I've sent multiple right of way questions. I had a surveyor out there close when we put the structure in on 325. We couldn't find anything in stone on the right of way. So utilities have a right of way of 16.5 to 20 feet. The road wide of ways are a lot of times off from edge of pavement to edge of pavement when you get into federal guidelines.
So is that overrule state guidelines? Because when I looked at the state, any old road is 20 feet from the center of the road plus the ditch.
I thought it was 16.
Well, maybe, could be, I don't know.
We can make it real simple. If you guys would fill out the easement, just like we do on the gravel road conversions, that would basically allow us 30 feet from the center of the road. Because the grade all can reach about 20 feet. That would allow us to clear trees and vegetation as needed. I don't want to come in there and rip everything out. That's not my intention. But to be able to replace structures and
So what do you,
get things where we're not ripping mirrors off school buses, dump trucks, anything else that
Right.
tries to drive down the
And
road.
that's
like
been a
pickup
problem.
trucks hit 'em.
that's been a problem.
That resident did pay to trim the trees the last time out of his own pockets. He didn't want me trimming them. They were supposed to be a foot away from the edge of the road. He trimmed them right at the edge of the road.
So what's it take to do that? I know the county could declare eminent domain, which I'm not in favor of that.
You won't win that on that one.
Okay.
Would be my guesstimation. I'm certainly not an attorney, ain't gonna rule on that, so. Just when I kind of read it.
So widening the road's probably out of the question is what you're saying, unless we get the neighbor to sign a petition or whatever.
Yeah, I still wouldn't go widen it a whole lot just because of funding.
So what's your plans for East 925 North?
Show me the money.
Okay, so that's what it's,
What are we talking
It's
about?
it's all funding right now. I know the road did give away quite a bit as I expected it to. The contractor that's working on State Road 62 down there was looking for a dump site for millings. They proposed 3 that I rejected until they finally found that one, because I wasn't gonna let her tear up a road that was already in pretty good shape. they kind of agreed that, you know, as things got tore up, that we would at least try to get them back to what they were when they started, because myself and the contractor recognized the road was not perfect. We did agree on a route for them to come in with loaded trucks to dump and then go out with the empty trucks another way, so they weren't meeting and tearing up the edges of the road and making that larger mess than what it already was.
So will they go in and repair these areas?
Some of them, they've already put some millings in some of the spots, and
Is that,
they can't make a new road out of it by any means, but it'd be a start. The trees are a big problem to get in and out, because right now it would be a mess if I sent trucks up there to even pave the road. Just be perfectly straightforward.
I know Mr. Phillips and Mr. Lee made a tour out there. They know what kind of shape that road's in. The other concern I've got is they were hauling the millings. Is there a contract saying that he's gonna use those on the farm? Or is he gonna haul them out?
The understanding was they were to be used on the farm.
That's why I put in here, if you repair the road and those millings are still there and he sells them, you're gonna have to repair it again, because you're gonna have the same traffic going out. So that part of it, with the millings is about roughly a half mile of non-25. The second half of non-25, they come out and patch 2 or 3 potholes, go, and then they come back a week or 2 later and do 2 or 3 more. Like I said in here, that road has not been paved since Carl Riss was commissioner, which was back late 60s, early 70s. It's been chipped and sealed. 325, on the other hand, has been paved twice in the last 5 or 6 years. So I'm stating my concern. If you don't do something, it's all gonna be gravel.
How length you talking about?
I don't remember off the top of my
I
head.
mean,
The
just-
numbers he just used, if it's a half mile, it'll be a mile. If he's, as he's referred to the dump site being a half mile from flat bottom and a half mile from there to Copeland.
Yeah, it's a mile or just maybe a shade over. But I know it's a half mile because my farm's a half mile long. From flat bottom to the corner.
I don't think any funds we could get for that to do it.
So that's come from county council.
It ain't gonna be suitable for this year, and I wouldn't even recommend trying to do any work down there this year with State Road 250 being closed
when's that supposed to be finished?
October-ish.
Is there another, I know you said there was no other, well, the other routes they proposed, you said no to. Are there other routes that they can take the millings out or?
No, they've got the contract with that location.
Okay,
And I mean, I understand why that road was picked, because it was junk before it ever. Not that part of it. That part of the road wasn't too bad. But the rest of it's been, it's been a nightmare for several years. And then like I put in the letter, it's not personal, it's just something needs to be done. Thank you.
okay, let's see what we can do, okay?
Okay. Oh, I do have one other question. Has nothing to
No,
do with
sorry,
this.
sorry.
Who appoints the planning commission? You guys do that?
Well, different groups do, yes, so,
You only have one appointee, right?
yeah, so one of us was on it, which is me. And then we appointed, I think Warren Offshire was the other one that we Or we approved his appointment, anyway, I think we appoint one other, and then there's some other stipulations, they have to be different political parties, can't have one group and things like that, so we can find out exactly who the appointments come from and get that information to you,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
You wanna serve?
I don't know, I'm in Florida. Not 5 months out of the year, so I don't know if that'll work. Well, if you do Zoom, I guess. No, I had somebody ask me that, that's why I asked.
Okay, yeah,
But I didn't know.
we can find out, like I said, there are some certain stipulations that go along with the different appointments, and, there's a council member, there's a commissioner, and then I don't know who's the body that actually selects the others. I'm sure each one has another appointment, but the issue is who's in Florida for fun, who's gonna do it and make it and be there.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
okay. Courthouse.
Yeah, no, I messed up. I didn't get a hold of Heather to get on the program last night, but anyway, I do have all 3 bids in, so
Okay.
we'll move on that next month.
Okay. Sounds good. Next, we have an appointment to the BZA. Hey, we'll have none of that. So, Fred Stillwell as an appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals. I think will be, 3 year term?
4-year term
4 year.
expires 12/31/27.
Yeah. 24.
She agreed to
Okay.
serve.
Okay. 4 years, so yeah. I'm gathering that he did agree to it,
Agreed.
because he's setting up for a 4-year term, someone's got him. So, I'd entertain a motion to.
I make a motion, we'll appoint Fred Stillwell to the BZA.
I'll
4-year
second
term.
that.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor, signify by aye. Okay. All right, okay. Mike, we'll go with you first, I don't think. Unless Josh has, we just go in the order, but we.
I said you didn't want to talk yet.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Doesn't have to.
Take care of that. I'm glad I didn't. Well, if it would stop raining, we can get our, started on the ADA spots. So far, I've delayed it. Thursday was perfect. However,
Okay.
today was perfect,
Mm.
but they're already booked. So I'm gonna call them tomorrow. And I think Thursday and Friday of next week, so we're gonna shoot for that. So hopefully we'll be able to get one of those 2 days. The river sweep was also delayed due to weather.
Mhm.
The river is back up again. If you look, it's all muddy ground again, but we did the river sweep last week and we got some trash off. Most of it's kind of washed down, so there'll be, if anybody wants to get out and volunteer. I would show you the nice T-shirt they gave out, but it's underneath my shirt, so I don't think you're gonna take my shirt off.
Thank you, we
But,
appreciate that.
yeah, but it was a good turnout.
Good.
Some folks, it was also the Molly DeTillo run, so.
Were they able to get dual task some people?
Well,
or-
let's put it this way, we give away free T-shirts at the river sweep, so what runner doesn't want a free
Really,
T-shirt?
another
right?
free shirt, okay.
So, but the weather hopefully will, give us a break so we can get the ADA striping done. Which brings me to another topic on ADA. Talked to Heather this week and we're probably gonna need to budget some more money for the ADA, projects. We're gonna need probably another transition plan next year. I understand from our consultant. And we've been getting a small bill here the last couple of months because there has been some issues or some discussion with having to revise our current transition plan. So, I know from the striping folks, we've got some spots we've got to change and some things like that, but,
But maybe not an additional for this year, just next year,
next year. for the 20
increasing that
yeah,
line item.
2025 budget, just so you guys know.
Okay.
And I won't spend it if I don't need it, okay? Just to let you know, the Jefferson County Historical Society is having a Madison in Bloom tour of gardens in Madison. It'll be the middle 2 weekends of June, June 8th and 9th, and the 15th and 16th, that's coming up. So it's the Jefferson County Historical Society. John Nyberg is the gentleman who's heading that up, so I just let you guys know that that's coming up. There's nothing to do with the surveyor's office, although our house is on the tour system. Sarah Adams has been hired. She's on board. She's on her 3rd week, right, Josh? She's in her 3rd week and, seems to be doing very well. We're getting along and things are getting handled and we think she's gonna be a good addition. I wanted to also make you aware, I'm gonna, and I don't know if since this is my first time in doing this, but I would like to see us update our painting and our carpet or flooring in the surveyor's office. I don't know when the last time it was done, but there's enough holes in the wall. It looks like we need to do some fixing and the duct tape's getting awful old on the carpeting. So and I don't know if it would probably be a good idea to maybe look at flooring in half of the building, because when the contractors come in and when Josh comes in or I come in.
Sure, I'm not the best with
You like
carpet.
your feet when you go in the house at home? I get in trouble too, but anyway, we get in trouble when we go in the office.
And you
So-
thought you were clear.
Yeah.
Come
But just, I don't know if that goes into 2025 budget. I'm sure that'd be a line item that we need to take a look at, so.
There's some money for this year.
Huh?
There's still some money.
King's Courthouse for some.
Okay,
other fun.
sure, I'll get some, I'll discuss with Sarah.
Yeah. Yep, it'd be a good idea to see.
Okay. Other than that, Josh and I have completed our floodplain training with the DNR. We both passed. We got certificates to prove it. If you want to come see them, we'll show them to you.
You got them framed and put up in the office?
There's
Okay.
three now. Getting enough holes in the wall,
Well,
but,
you can cover the holes in the wall with certificates.
That's a good idea. But no, we got that done. So that, we had to have that done by June of 2025. And that's a requirement for floodplains. So you got 2 of us now. So just let you guys know. And not that we don't have to ask questions of Indianapolis, but we probably will, you know, so. Okay, anything for me? Thank you, gentlemen
Thank you.
and ladies.
I don't have a whole lot. I'll see if I can follow up Terry. No, it's part of the racket. I know it's part of what we have to deal with, you know, looking at and evaluating roads, figuring out which roads are gonna get fixed, what we're gonna do where. I know I've spent a lot of time studying a lot of the preservation and a lot of the things we've done. That's why we've tried to we try to tackle some of the worst roads as well as keeping our good roads good, because it would just, the numbers that I've looked at, if there's no way we can pave ourselves out of the problem.
Yeah.
Because every year, every road, every lane mile gets a year older. They deteriorate. So we've got 535 miles of total road, center line miles. So you take that times 2 for our lane miles and it magnifies a lot. With the study that I was in with Federal Highway here recently, and we were looking at Safe Streets for All. Some of the signage, some of the road, they wanted, Federal Highway would like to see even more road striping for, even if it's just the edge. And, you know, and my comment to them was 925 is not gonna be happy if I go spend a lot of money on paint and not fix the road.
Right.
That's it. And, you know, I didn't point out that road by Camden Heights, that's been brought up, but our poor roads
Yeah.
would not, we would never get to them. We've looked at some rock widening projects, you know, you get into a full-blown widening where you try to get into 10-foot travel lanes, 2 foot of shoulder, 4 feet of safe, what they call clearway, for if something does run off the road, they can get back on. Moving utilities, you're looking about $1 million a lane mile by the time you pay for engineering, purchase right of way and all that good stuff. So
It is, it's just all a matter of funding and where we want to put our priorities. I do know, like a lot of what I've tried to do as I've been superintendent and kind of studied it and recognized the many challenges that we have in Jefferson County for transportation. I don't want to infringe on anybody's right to live out in the country. We all choose to live out there. We choose to live a little bit farther from town. A lot of times our roads suffer. We've got a little bit more traveling to get to. But somebody else just recently told me that that's also additional gas tax that they're generating because they're driving more. And that's something else to kind of consider, because that is where the funding comes from for the roads, is from the gas tax, not from our property taxes, even though we all get those phone calls as well. So we've been staying quite a bit on those. If I find some funding that is available, and I'm very aware of that one, but when 325 and Flat Bottom, a lot of the surrounding roads, and that's the comment I'm getting from a lot of folks now that live on a little bit rough road, that everything around has been paved, and I'm like, everything around everybody in the county hasn't been paved, but we have been working on it. And there's a lot of roads that haven't been paved for many years. And with a couple $1 million a year, close to $3 million a year paving, and provided we get community crossings, I know that number has been raised a little bit. So you'll see that would be reflected when I ask for the matching money. Because they've raised that grant now to $1.5 million, and we're 75-25. So that's gonna help a lot. And I've been keeping that very committed to paving to do that, because we can do the chip seal ourselves. We do quite a bit of the crack fill, and we contract that out, just kind of depending on how the money's available. And we've been playing a lot of catch up. The crack fill is by far and away the best money we spend. If we can eliminate the cracks, we can eliminate and certainly slow down the potholes. So it is, the right of way that's an ongoing challenge. I got compliments on one road for doing a fantastic job of bush hogging back. And then the next day I got complaints about the exact same road because we went too far. So, we don't win. The road was trimmed. I won. And those trees won't be in the way, but there's a lot of safety concerns as well, because some of those trees are ornamental trees that were planted by their great-great-grandfather, we'll say, that are too close to the road. And if somebody leaves the road, they're certainly a safety hazard, because they're not gonna get. And I know in my safety discussion with the folks that were in Federal Highway, and I pointed over here because this is where we all met. Just part of my memory, just follow along. with me.
Bob was there.
Didn't know you were with the highway department, Bob.
I remember where they were sitting, where I was, it just
Sure.
gotta help me remember. One of the things that came out, if any tree is cut down, it needs to be cut down so that it's no more than 4 inches tall, so that the car would clear it and not hit it and be ejected. The follow-up letter that they sent was talking about, how many fatalities there are in the state of Indiana and how many per second. So, and we're all in the safety department, so to speak, and we all want to know that. We certainly want to make sure all of our family members can make it home. Driving on roads, it's kind of hard to help the driver sometimes. So if you got a long line behind you, you're probably driving the speed limit.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Do you feel better?
Defendable, but there's a lot of challenges out there that we deal with the road department, trying to make them the best we can, continue to seek funding. And I know I communicate that a lot with you guys, and I know you guys pay a lot of attention to what's going on in the legislature branch and what fundings are available. And I get emails from time to time, folks kind of giving me a heads up, hey, did you see this one? Did you see this one? We're trying to do all we can. Yeah, that's how that will keep ditching. I'll follow up on some potholes, because if we're only patching 2 a day, I got an issue. Now, hopefully it's got rained out, there's bad timing. Yeah, we're gonna double our quota. No, I know they patch a lot more than that. I follow them up, and I've been out there helping in multiple places. I wasn't on that one, Terrace. That's all I've got. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Do you have anything for me?
You guys are the public. You have anything? You're the only public that's here right now.
It's not raining.
You have anything?
Yeah, we, just so kind of give an update to folks out there, the use of the old jail last, 2 weeks ago now, Thursday,
Yeah.
we had, representatives from the juvenile department from Indianapolis, the representatives who are over the juvenile facilities, first names, Rachel, Lori, and Jasmine, came down and we took them, it's the second time we've taken them through the new part of the old jail. Make sure you get that, to see about the juvenile facility, and, kind of a favorable mention, really. We have some work to do, so we're gonna do some estimates on what it would take to do that, and, Ben Flint, Bobby, well, Dave was on the first one, he had to work with the second one, but, so we're working on that. Again, just see what the estimates might be to.
Well, I mean, I think, the alternative is to do nothing, and I think we wanna do something with it rather than just let it set. But yeah, need to figure out what that would be.
They gave us favorable reports, and the
Mhm.
layout of the building and everything would be suitable for it, and didn't see any major hiccups, did she?
Not really, yeah.
So we'll pursue that.
And she suggested steps.
Yeah, she said start small, like 7 and 7, and then when you get established, see you can handle more, take more. But
That makes sense.
it's a step in the right direction
Mhm.
anyways.
More and more juvenile facilities are shutting down.
Right.
The one that we heard just recently is it's more like farmed out rather than
Right.
owned by the county. And they just, I guess, tired of messing with the juvenile facility, so. Now, instead of our law enforcement officers having to travel 2.5 hours to drop off, they may have to go
3.5.
3.5. And then they want to see that individual back in the next morning, and you just got back, and you go back, and then they get done with the court appearance and back. Just, there's some pros and always some cons, but we're looking into that. And our, Dora mentioned the mental health facility. We're still working on that. I missed the last meeting. But we're still working on doing something. Like she said, Jefferson County has been called a mental health desert. With all the things that we have, we're still falling short on some mental health, not just the rehab on drugs and alcohol, but mental health. So we're still working on that. That's on two.
So on the Ready 2.0, I guess we call it the application, I think they're calling them request for project form became available on Monday. And then, so there's two possibilities. One is for the Eli Lilly, put some money in for, so I get it right. Do you remember the two?
250 million.
Yeah, they had certain categories that they were, arts and culture, and then, revitalization, or arts and culture and redevelopment. So those were the two categories for Eli Lilly. They are due on the 5th of June. So I'm not sure, we need to talk to the Historical Society to see if they fell in the arts and culture side to see if, but anyway, that one's due relatively shortly. The other one for the other Ready projects, and they have, 3 categories. How many categories can you? 3 categories: quality of life, quality of place, and quality of opportunity. Those are kind of the 3 categories that a project must fit into when you submit it. And so the new animal shelter, the park at Jefferson Proving Ground, the campground at Jefferson Proving Ground, and then the Rikers Ridge Sewer District.
Yeah.
So we've got those 3 projects. Like I said, we'll talk to the Historical Society if they think they fit better in those categories, or if the Lilly category would be for them. There will be from each region, there will be a total of 8 projects for the Lilly Foundation grant, 8 projects. So 4 for arts and culture and 4 for redevelopment. So each region will do 8 projects. We'll submit 8 projects and then they'll look at those. One thing they did say about the other category, the ready dollars, is that the Indiana Economic Development Corporation wants to be more involved in the evaluation of projects. So there'll be another chair at the table when they evaluate them. But those are due the 12th of July. Yeah, 12th of July at noon, he said, because he figured he'd be gone in the afternoon. It's a Friday. Like, okay. Anyway, so we're getting started to put those together, trying to, as we mentioned before, more partners, more opportunities for funding to bring on for these projects. So I know that Brian, who's not here, has been working on one for the animal shelter with a Dow Chemical grant. So that seems to be moving forward. So once again, trying to bring together some different funding sources to help move forward. I know that Brian has been in touch with Trish, getting some ideas for what a new shelter would have in it. So I think we're getting to a point where we kind of get those together and then talk to an architecture and start getting some plans laid out for what we would like to put into a new shelter and doing that. So that was that meeting was last Friday. It's a little quiet on the stormwater ordinance, but we're trying to wait on the city to see what they're gonna do, so we match up with what in the buffer zone. I may, if it continues to drag on, I may just go ahead and move that forward and get our set. The city may do what we do anyway, so, and maybe we talk to each other and found out that, so they're waiting on us and we're waiting on them, but so we'll get that finalized. Don't want to keep that dragging out. We have looked through the remaining funds from the ARP amount that we received, and that has to be allocated by the end of the year and then spent by 2026. There's I don't know if we know an exact amount. It's rather, I think it's like $1 million.
It's right at 1.2.
Okay, so over $1 million that we need to start working on to find. Some of that was in broadband and in stormwater management and in economic development. So those were 3 big, I think, line items that were in there, but then there's some others, some cybersecurity, there's a little bit there. So anyway, we'll start looking at projects and things that we can do that maybe didn't. Yeah, we haven't until the end of this year to get it, and so we'll get that moving forward.
How about non-25?
That could be a possibility. I mean, that's
Had to ask.
well, we'd be disappointed if you didn't. So, but no, that's something that we need to consider.
If you can do it.
Yeah, well, I think the way it's.
Falls in a gray area there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, because we were under the $10 million, there seemed to be, there was less restrictions. We could count it as,
So technically, we
Oh,
claimed
okay.
everything as lost revenue.
yeah, okay. So we have the ability to do, if we make a good case, we'll try that, to spend it on things like that. So. I mean, I think some of it, we would like to, because if we receive money for the projects from Ready, there's gonna have to be some money from the county. Some of it may be, if it's the campground, it may be the land. That may be part of our,
Match.
right, in that process. So, but, we'll know more as the year goes on. Not that we wait until we find that out, but we probably would want to hold a little bit back just in case to see if that becomes, if we need to come up with matching money, and then we could do that. So, I think that's it. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Thank you for coming.